I'm Jim, and this is Archetype Aperture. You'll notice something different about me today. If you've watched any of my videos, you've never seen these before. These are something brand new to me. As you get older, I've found that eyesight is probably the third thing to go. The first two things is hearing and the mind, but I digress. Now I've got to contend with these. And how does that affect me as a photographer? Well, obviously you can't really hold the viewfinder up to your face when you have glasses on. So I most likely won't be shooting with glasses on. The good news is there is a little dial. I'm sure there's a term for it. I'm sure it's called something. Maybe I should look that up. Screw it. There's a little dial on the side of your viewfinder. If you just take a look over there. Again, this is for beginners and intermediate. If you're a professional, long-time shooter, you know this already. I don't have to tell you this, so you can skip this part. But if you look on the side by the viewfinder, there's a little dial, and you can actually dial that in, and it almost acts as a pair of glasses so that you can actually see and focus well on what you're shooting. That way you don't have to use your glasses. Now, there are some people that use contact lenses, and that's fine. You know, it helps your vision that way. Whatever it takes to get the best shot possible. And, of course, the AC's right. Yeah, I missed it. I should have said something, but the AC kicked in here a minute ago. I am in my garage. If I have not already said that, I'm in my garage. I'm going to be building this garage out. And what I mean by that is I've got a garage door over here that I've got to take down, and I've got to frame up a wall. I've got to sheetrock. I've got to put plywood on the outside, then like a sheet metal or siding, aluminum siding, or some hardy board, something of that nature. Put it up there and enclose this, obviously insulate it and everything. And then the wall behind me is a concrete wall, concrete block. See, really looks kind of cool, actually, to be honest. But it's too reflective. And if you know sound at all, then you know that you don't want to have a reflective type thing. Sound reflection is what I'm talking about. But anyways, I digress. That's not why we're here today. What I'm here to talk about today is, obviously wanted to mention the glasses, not because I feel cool because I have them. It's been a process. I've had them for about 3 weeks, and it's been a process to get used to them. I've never worn glasses. It's kind of a pain in the tuchus, putting it lightly. For this, I am going to, my nose, I've got indentations now on my nose where the glasses were, but I feel like they were adding a distinct shadow to my eyes, and I look like a raccoon. But I just picked this up. It's kind of dirty because I've had my fingers on it all day, and I got a case for it and everything. But this is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Almost every year they come out with a new iPhone, and that's nothing new. Generally I wait at least until they've done their first update to the new phone, because there's usually bugs and all those type of things that they work out. But there's always bugs in any phone you get, and they're going to continuously, especially with iPhone. Apple is really good about sending updates and all those things. Now, I'm on firmware 1.22.202. I went ahead and I got the 256 gig, and which is awesome, but I have already used over half of that already. As a photographer, it really helps to have a lot of storage. I have multiple backups. I've got multiple storage. I've got cloud storage. I've got HD storage, SSD storage, which to me, in my personal opinion, the SSD works better because it's a much faster, it's a solid state drive. It definitely works faster with your computer with as far as downloads and uploads and everything like that. So I prefer that, but we take what we can get, right? So I have yet to really tinker with this, but I've already noticed a couple of cool features with the camera. There is a cinematic mode, which is kind of cool. It's almost like using a a camera that you can actually rack focus with. If you have a subject here, it'll focus on the subject, like my hand. And then when you take it away, it zooms back to your face. And it actually will put little track boxes around each of the subjects that are in frame, and you can actually touch where you want it to focus. So you can kind of, in a way, you could shoot a dramatic scene if you want to. You can rack focus on your iPhone, which is kind of cool. So that's just one of the features. Of course, most of the features that I'm going to talk about are camera features, because it is interesting to me how the camera phone or the phones in these cameras is evolving. Now, before I go any further, there's one more thing I do want to mention about this phone, but I wanted to kind of talk about, am I worried about iPhone or Droid phones, Samsungs, whatever they are? Am I worried about iPhone shooters? Am I worried about that saturating the market or taking over what I do or what you may be willing, not willing, but wanting to do? No, I don't worry about that at all. The sensor in this phone is still very, very small, and in comparison to that I'm filming on right now, is I'm filming on the R5, which has got I believe it's at least a 1-inch sensor. I don't have all the specs in front of me. Go figure, right? I mean, if I did, then it wouldn't be me. So what I will tell you is that the sensor size does make a big, huge difference as far as, it may say it's 45 megapixels, but it's not really. I shot some photos on my phone this morning, early in the morning, like 4 in the morning. The moon is in like full crescent, I believe, right now, and I thought it looked really, really cool. And I was like, hey, let's test the low light capabilities of this phone. It looked like garbage. It looked like hot garbage. First of all, yes, does it have it's got like a sport mode on it, which, it's supposed to stabilize the camera and all that good stuff. It's almost like in-body stabilization, but it does not work at all. My hand, even the slightest tremors made it really bad, because what it does is basically it adjusts, from what I understand, from what I can tell, it adjusts the shutter speed. So it's just like having a slow shutter speed on your camera at night. That's how you get good low light photography. But as far as like the focal points, and it no way, in no way, shape, or form, in my opinion, did the Apple even touch what a camera body can do. Now, the fact that you can control every aspect of your camera manually, and even the lens and the focus and all those good things, and if you have a tripod and you're shooting low light, even better, especially if you're shooting something stationary like the moon. Well, it's not really stationary, but to us it looks stationary. I don't want to get into a whole theological debate. Is it theological debate? I don't really know. Astrological debate. Maybe that's the right thing to say. Something like that at night, the stars and the moon, putting it on a tripod and setting to a slow shutter speed, getting a good lock-in focus on your lens, on your camera. Also, having in-body stabilization and IS in the lens helps, which I have. Right now, I'm using the 24-70 2.8, and on my EOS R5. The other thing that I have yet to really test out and play around with is there is a macro mode on this phone, which is really, really cool. This is my camera, and if I take it and hold up something, this is a dirty lens cap. You'll notice down here at the bottom left, it's got a little flower, and that is macro mode. Let's see how close it'll get. I mean, much closer, and I'm going to be touching the camera body. I wonder, let's see, boom. Oh, we magnified. We went on in. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. Hmm. If the lighting's not right, and you don't, like, I'm well lit right now. I've got two 60-watt strobe. Well, they're not strobes; they're constant lights. The newer SL60Ws. I've got two of those with the lantern softbox diffusers, which are great, by the way, for photos. Look how it brings out the color in my beard and makes my skin look all soft, except for the liver spots. But that's a pretty cool feature. Now, I don't have all the specs. Could I pull them up? Sure. iPhones, cell phones in general with cameras, they can do all that they want to with it, but I can tell you that I'm still going to be shooting with my camera because that's where I feel most comfortable. I like to feel like there's something substantial in my hands as I'm shooting. This is for run and gun. This is for fun. This is for like people that would have been consumers of a point and shoot maybe years ago, but now maybe they, since everything's right here, you don't have to buy point and shoots anymore. I almost think it's pointless, in my opinion. It's almost pointless to make the point and shoot cameras anymore. They're going to still make them, and they still are making them. Now, Canon just put, and everyone knows I'm a Canon shooter, but I'm not biased. I mean, look, this is a Lumix G7 right here that you're looking at, that you're watching me on right now for the overhead shot. And I mean, that's what we use for live streaming. When I do my other podcasts and we're live streaming, this is the camera we use. And this camera basically stays directly connected to my A10 Mini Pro, and the other camera is right there, and they both stay connected. I generally don't use the R5 for live streaming and shooting, just for videos like this. But what's cool is I'm using, and I know this is a lot of information to take in, so just bear with me, but I'm going to do a video purely about this and how I stream, not how to stream, because there's so many different ways to stream. And it's all the rage right now. And honestly, I think that's where things are headed. I think that cable TV is becoming non-existent. It's kind of fallen to the wayside. And streaming, people having their own shows, people doing things like this, it's going to take over. And the best part about it is, in this world right now, there's not a lot of rules. So you can kind of do whatever you want to do, but I digress. What I'm using currently, I've got my camera, both these cameras, routed into my A10 Mini right here. And everything is running via USB-C into the back of my computer here. And I've got open, and if you haven't heard about it or heard of the name, it's Ecamm Live, and it's ECAMM Live, like two M's. Why? I guess they just had to be different, but it's a really fantastic. It's kind of like OBS, except for me, it's a lot more put together. It's a lot easier it's a lot easier to deal with, a lot easier to use, a lot more, I guess, user friendly is the right word. So it's definitely everything I need. It's perfect. I can do scenes. I can pull up video on it. I can bring in a caller. I can do sound effects, even without using the Rodecaster Pro. But I do have. You can add like right now I have my Rodecaster Pro also running into the computer, which then it automatically selects it as the sound, as the main source of sound. I can select, let's see. built-in microphone. Let's see how that sounds. This is the built-in microphone on my computer. Probably not as good, right? So, all right, so now we're back on the Rodecaster Pro because that was probably really annoying. But it's super functional. It's got there's all these windows, and you can customize it however you like. You can change the brightness. Let me reset that actually. I usually just keep the brightness where it's at, and you can play with the temperature. I don't know. What else do you want to know, guys? I've missed doing this so much. I really felt like I needed to get in here and create something for me, but it's ultimately for you. So that's why I'm doing this. And these are all just random things that are popping into my head right now because honestly, could I have made a script? I could have, but it just doesn't feel as sincere. And I'll probably cut a bunch of stuff out because this is 21 minutes and I don't want to have a 21-minute podcast or video. So with that, I will say I will see you in the next one, or you'll hear me in the next one. Either way, go check out the podcast. It's Archetype Aperture. And I am Jim. This is JWM Photography, JWMphoto.llc, whatever. I can't remember what it's at JWM Photo. That's my YouTube handle, okay? I did a whole video about YouTube handles. Did I do a video about it? No, I did a podcast about it. Here I am forgetting my own YouTube handle, but that's because I don't tag myself. I don't do any of that stuff. I need to do better. So I will, but moving forward, there will be some more of these. I've got some ideas for some content that I want to create. I've got some video ideas that I want to make for you and podcast as well. See, this is nice because I'm going to try and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. All right. That's it, guys. See ya.